today we're going to do a freeze and bake make-ahead peach cobbler. So what I have here is 3 pounds of frozen peaches, and when you use fresh peaches, you're going to need 4 pounds of fresh peaches because you're going to have a lot of waste from peeling them and pitting them. We're then going to add 2 cups of sugar, 1/4 cup of cornstarch, a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, and a half a teaspoon of salt. I have 1/4 cup of water and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And all we have to do now is put everything together, and we're going to bring over the induction burner, and I'm going to have to put this in a different pot because I wasn't thinking. So I'll be right back and we'll get to cooking this up. Alright, now I've got the induction burner and I switched out pots because this one definitely will work on here. And we're going to just add all of these things into the saucepan. Our spices, our sugar, our water, lemon juice, and our cornstarch. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this on medium, around 300 degrees, and then just give this a really good stir. And we're just going to cook this until all of the fruit is no longer frozen and the mixture looks like pie filling. Alright, our peach filling has been simmering away. Now it's going to take about 10 minutes before it starts to really come to a good boil. You want this at a full rolling boil, okay? And you see how it's no longer milky, but it's clear and translucent. Yes, it's translucent. Now you see when I pull my spoon through it, you can sort of see the bottom. It's not like filling up immediately, and that's where you want it. So you know that this is nice and thick and completely gelled, and now it's time to remove it from the heat. So we'll go ahead and turn it off. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and we're going to pour it into a foil pan. I simply measured my peaches into this pan just to see how 3 pounds we're going to fit in here, and it's perfect. And then we're going to make the biscuit topping. Now this is like a buttermilk biscuit, but it's a cream biscuit. So there's no buttermilk involved, but it's going to be a nice short crust biscuit. We're going to start with all-purpose flour. Salt, you don't need too much salt. And I'm gonna kind of just toss this butter in the flour. And all we're gonna do is take a pastry cutter and we're going to kind of go down and twist, down and twist. We're gonna cut that butter into the flour mixture. All right, we got our flour and our butter cut into each other. Now we're gonna add our baking powder and our sugar. Then we're gonna add milk, heavy cream. And we're gonna give this a good stir and get everything well incorporated. Now you don't want this to be like a biscuit dough where you're going to roll it out. This is going to be a drop biscuit. We're going to scoop this onto the top of our cobbler. So it's going to be a little loose. If you're used to making a drop biscuit, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Alright, now all we have to do is top our cobbler off with our biscuit topping. I like to generously top my cobbler. I'm just going to go ahead and finish topping this off. We finished putting our biscuit topping on our cobbler. And now we're going to go ahead and freeze it. This is where you would make a change. Normally you would go ahead, sprinkle this with a cinnamon sugar mixture, pop it in the oven, and bake it until it was done, which would be approximately an hour. 40 minutes to an hour would depend on your oven. But today we're going to start preparing for our make-ahead Thanksgiving. In which case, we're going to stop at this point. We're going to pop this in the freezer, and we're going to freeze it until it's solid. Okay, fast forward 2 weeks. So today, we're finishing off our freeze and bake peach cobbler, so I can show you guys how easy it is to prep these in advance. You can do these up to 3 months in advance and have them ready for any occasion. So I'm just gonna, we covered it with this foil lid, and I'll leave links to where you can get the lid and the pans and the parchment paper. I remember I wrote the instructions on it. We're going to take the parchment and the foil lid off of this pan. Now if you've sealed yours with heavy duty aluminum foil, you'll just want to remove that. Or loosen it, because what we're going to do now is I've had this sitting out on the counter for about an hour and it is nowhere thawed out completely, but the cobbler topping is starting to soften a bit, and that's what you want. You don't want to just take this right out of the freezer and pop it into an oven. Although you could do that, you're going to risk over browning your top and burning your fillings. So you don't want to do that. So let it sit out on the counter for about an hour while you're doing other things in preparation for your Thanksgiving meal or whatever you're doing it for. And your oven's already most likely going to be hot if you're doing other things that day. So 350 degrees. And you're going to pop this in an oven like this. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to just lay this sheet of foil on the top. We're going to do this for about 30 minutes and then we're going to come and take this off. And then we're going to bake it for another 30 minutes. So this has to stay in the oven at least an hour. And then after the first 30 minutes, you're going to take this foil off of it so that the cobbler topping can brown. You also can sprinkle this with cinnamon sugar. I'm not going to do that today, but you do have that option. I wrote all of these instructions in the Make Ahead Thanksgiving cookbook, and you'll be able to reference them there. I'll leave a link down below where you can find that as well. So into the oven this goes, and I'll be back and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, our cobbler was in the oven for an hour and a half. Now yours may take less time or longer depending on your oven and how well it heats or doesn't heat. And if you're cooking other things with it at the same time. The key is you want everything to be brown. You see how it's a little bit lighter in the center? I left it in just a little bit too long, but it's not really a problem. So we're gonna serve some of this up. And we love a lot of biscuity topping. So we're gonna go ahead and serve it up like that. Just like that. So delicious. And perfect for Thanksgiving or your holiday meal. If you like today's video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. And if you're new to my kitchen, welcome. It's always a pleasure to have new friends join me. Please hit that subscribe button and please come back and visit me again soon. And as always, if you are a tried and true member of the Noreen's Kitchen family, please hit that bell notification button and set your YouTube homepage to your subscription feed so you don't miss out on all the real food for real people, real easy recipes that we present all the time right here on our YouTube channel and straight from our kitchen. I hope that you love this idea for a freeze and bake peach cobbler, and I hope that you love it. Remember, you can get the recipe for this in my Make Ahead Thanksgiving cookbook. Links will be down below. And until next time, I'll see ya.